It's your girl Jaylah from Cultura, and I'm here with one of my friends who is far away from me right now. And I'm not gonna lie, because it's been so rainy in South Florida, I kind of wish I was over there for a hot summer. Welcome, my guest. I'm gonna let him introduce himself. Tell him who you are, where you're at, and what you do.
Yes. So my name is Jonaed Iqbal. I'm the founder of NoDegree.com and host of the No Degree podcast, where I interview people without college degrees. I'm based out of New York City, so I'm really excited that your team has selected me to do this virtual interview.
You're lucky. Tell them what borough you're from, because
I'm
my
from
New York
Queens.
people knows where I mess with and where I don't.
I'm from Queens.
I like that answer, because we repping Queens over here, the Bronx, Manhattan, a little bit of Harlem, so we'll allow that.
All right. All right. Cool.
Thank you so much for being on with us. I know we've had a lot of conversations in the past, and I'm really excited to have you on here and talk about everything that you're working on right now, because it's such a big change of where I think a lot of people of color come from and what we know about getting further education for ourselves. And I think that that's really important. So let's talk about nodegree.com and what you're doing with that.
Yeah, so NoDegree.com is a career resource for people without college degrees. And a lot of people think that I'm anti-education, anti-college, but that's the furthest from the truth. I'm all about learning, and I think that learning can come from any place or form, right? Like nowadays, you have so many online resources. You have a lot of places. People learn from YouTube, they learn from podcasts, they learn from books, and learning is more accessible than ever. One of the things about college is that 60% of people who go to college come from middle class backgrounds or higher. So college is not accessible. Like, what if you want to go to college at 32 years old and you have a family to? Can you wait 4 years and work full time to do that, or can you do something more accelerated? Right? Can you get a role where you move up? Can you upskill over time? So a lot of times people don't realize that not all paths require a degree, and even paths that traditionally require a degree, you can actually break into without having a degree. I've seen people from retail backgrounds, some sales backgrounds, break into big corporates, and I've seen even people upskill and break into roles like marketing, tech. They break into startups and they move up all without a college degree. And the beauty is they can do it faster, and they can do it without taking on the loans, right? Because the loans are another big thing that not everyone has access to.
Yeah, and I think that that's something really important to talk about, because I think that, especially a lot of us who are raised to like stay at home and live at home and get our college education and, keep moving forward. At, I think back in the day, there were so many scams of these
Yep.
like fake technical schools and stuff
Yep.
like that that really didn't get people really far. But I think now it's changing that perspective, because they don't know that all of this has changed now,
Yeah.
right? We have things like this that mean something, that says, like you said, I learn different. I'm a visual learner. I need to sit, I need to physically
Yeah.
try, I need to work on things. I can't just sit in a class and continue to hear things and read a book and I'm going to be like, hey, A-okay. So there's people have different spaces of learning, especially now with this new generation, that they grow up with screens.
Yep.
So for them, going to school is really boring at the end of the
Yeah.
day, unless they have a screen in front of them. So how does this transfer with all of that culture
Yeah.
and
Yeah, so how it's really transferring is that I think more and more we're realizing that different people learn differently. So
yeah,
it's important for us to figure out, where do we learn? Some people are great in the classroom, and that's cool. But I think that just because someone's not good in the classroom does not mean they're not smart. There are some people need to get through work experience. I know a lot of salespeople, they become good through actual experience, and they're like, wow, I'm really good at communicating. Some people learn, maybe by working well with others. Some people learn by mentorship. And I think it's important to incorporate all these. And people need to realize, like, hey, you know what? Here's what I'm good at. Here's what I'm not good at. here's where I learn the best, here's where I don't learn the best, and then figure out, hey, maybe it's a boot camp, maybe it's an online course, maybe it's on the job training and all that. And now there are also apprenticeships, right, where you can actually get paid as long as you have a certain base level of knowledge. There are apprenticeships where you can actually get paid while you're, and these are technical things that you can get paid for and move up.
Yeah, I think that's just really important to share. Like, definitely, it's something that I don't think, now that I'm a mom, obviously, I'm seeing now, or I'm trying to see new opportunities, and how, I know how hard it was for me to create these opportunities for myself to get through what I needed to navigate through to get through, I guess, my media lane. And I know it's been like that for a lot of
Yeah.
people in tech as well, because tech has evolved so much. And I think especially here in South Florida, the ecosystem is a little delayed. Not like New York, Silicon Valley, California, where it kind of started there and it kind of rapidly went, you know? So where, like, how do you see the difference, or do you see that difference when people come and try to speak to you about certain things? Like, do you get certain hesitations from certain states? Do you get like more fulfillment from certain places?
Yeah, you know what? I see a common trend because a lot of times people without degrees, they have this perception, like they keep on getting rejected, right? Because the job search sucks for everyone. Whether or not you have a degree, it's brutal and it's tough. So they think, hey, I'm not getting it because I don't have a degree, or people have told them, hey, you're not doing it right. And a lot of times when they talk to someone, sometimes they need to know, like, hey, you know what? You do have the right mindset here. You just need to know some of the right strategies. You need to know how to talk to the people. You need to know how to find the people. And I think in certain areas that you don't have as much economic activity, just due to, if you only know 10 people, right? And they all have a certain background, you can only ask them so much. But in places like New York City, in places like, you know, that have a lot of population, you're going to see so many people and interact with so many people that you're going to get exposed to many ideas. I did see a lot of activity in South Florida, but what I will say is now that when you have access to the internet and YouTube, you can see it doesn't matter whether you're in Kansas or whether you're in Alabama, or whether you're in a small town, you can see this. So I always try to educate people like, hey, you know what? You're actually wrong. Just because you work in retail does not mean you can't move up. It doesn't mean that you can't get into this career. Now, look, I will say that it does take work. You may have to fill some gaps. You may have to go out there and network, but there's opportunity everywhere.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes people, and I would love to like get your aspect on it. I feel like some people feel like failures, or it's too late, or I'm too old,
Yeah,
or I've already had a career for 20 years and I don't know anything else, and I don't think I can do anything else. What would you tell those people? Because I mean, at one point, I was one of those people.
yeah,
I was in radio. COVID changed the radio industry, and I love it as much as I love it. It's not where it was before, and obviously now pivoting, I've had to learn and find my way through tech in the sense of like, wow, there is money here, or wow, there is a space for me, or hey, I might have this skill that can come into play into tech. Like, what would you tell those people that maybe have that resistance of
yeah.
wanting to really take that change?
So I'm gonna say, like, let's use an example. You come from a retail background and you're like, hey, I'm too old. I've been working retail 15, 20 years. I can't change. But I'm like, think about the technology that retail companies use, right? They have inventory systems, they have customer systems, they have payment systems, they have efficiency systems, they use HR systems. And there are tech companies that focus on, hey, we sell HR solutions to retail companies. We sell time tracking software to XYZ. So just realize that your experience is an asset. It makes you unique. I always tell people you can't change your background. All you can do is own it, right? I've seen people who work in warehouses. Okay, now you want to move to sales. Now you want to move to sales and you want to sell technology to warehouses. You know the ins and outs. You know who to talk to. You know who to interact with. So don't discount that experience. And trust me, you're not too old. I've seen people above 50 become programmers. It will take work. It will take adjustment. It will take time, but it is definitely feasible. But again, It's going to take work. I always emphasize it because you go online and you're
Yeah.
on Instagram, you're on
Well,
YouTube,
I
and like,
mean, you're
hey,
being realistic though, and that's what I love about it because we live in a world where everything seems so like snap of the fingers, so instant, right? We get our phone
yeah,
instantly, we get our news instantly, we get our social instantly. So people kind of like losing patience. This
yep,
younger generation doesn't have patience. So it's like, how do you figure that out and model that to continue building and doing something more? So I think that's really important for them to actually know those things because I feel like those are factors that we've been told in the past. Hey, once you reach 30 something and you don't have a set career, you're kind of lost. Or hey, you're over 50, you can't kind of go do anything else. And I just don't think that's true. My parents are in their older 50s and I can see my dad going into a whole new career in tech if I put him in it. And I know he would excel great because he's just a great person at communication. He just loves to talk to people. And just with that
yeah,
alone, I know he could be successful in sales. Can I
yeah,
do that? Absolutely not. But I know where my strengths are. And I help put on production. I help put on, talking to people and getting this information to people, which I think is as equally as important as it is for people getting to work there. So I appreciate that you have this platform for people. How can they get to you? How can they contact you if they want to be a part of this?
yeah. So check out nodegree.com. All the jobs on there don't require college degrees. I have a lot of articles that talk about how to break into different careers and the realistic pathways. And then check out the No Degree podcast on your favorite platform. I have over 200 episodes and I interview people without college degrees. And it's a real podcast. It's not like how this person made $1 million. It really goes into how this person transitioned industries, how they failed, how they bounced back. And I think a lot of people don't realize that failure is a part of the process. That
Yes.
failing, no matter what you do, you will fail in some capacity, and that's perfectly okay. And for those of you without degrees, a lot of time people who go to college are not used to failing because in school, right, you fail a class, that's bad, right? You, you're shunned, right? But in real life, failing is a learning experience. You're gonna fail. You may, let's say you try for sales and you realize, hey, that's not sales. Like I'm doing a resume for someone right now, and he's like, you know what? I did this job and I learned consulting is not my thing. Cool. Now you know what is your thing. And too many people just think like they think failure defines them. And it's like, no, you need those failures to learn who you are, to move closer to the person and move closer to the things you actually want to do.
That's one of the pieces of advice that I got at the beginning of my, career was fail, but fail fast.
Yep.
Like keep failing at things because you're going to learn along the way, but fail fast so you get to where you need to get to at the same time. But you got to learn. If you
Yeah.
don't learn from those failures, then you're not doing it right.
Yeah. Then you'll keep failing. So that's something that's you have to learn. You have to learn how to bounce back, have those takeaways so you don't keep on making the same mistakes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I know we have so much to talk about. We got
Yeah.
events coming in New York,
Yep.
and I can't wait for that. We have so much that we're going to talk about. And this is only one of the first conversations because I don't want to give too much away.
Yep.
They know where to reach you. Do you have any last words of encouragement or positivity that you
Yeah.
want to give?
Yeah. I want to say you can do more than you think you can. And oftentimes people believe that, hey, yeah, I can only become this. You can become so much more, and don't limit yourself based on what other people say.
Absolutely. I totally agree on both of those points. And I appreciate you so much for being on the line with me. And I can't wait. We're going to have you in South Florida soon.
Yep.
We're going to go to New York soon and have some fun. So
Let's go.
everybody will be watching out for that. And if you guys want to sign up, if you guys want to talk and ask him more questions, please make sure you follow him. You follow nodegree.com and you get all the information that you need to start a new career in tech. Because we need more and more techies because this world is evolving and very quick.
Yeah. No, look, as fast as the world moves, you can move with
Yes.
it.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you. We'll talk
Appreciate you
soon.
too. We'll talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.